Hello there folks, it is TIJ Gaming and welcome back to the Tour de France 2020 Pro Team Career Mode. Today is time for episode 8 of Season 2, the finale of the season, the last stage of the Open Tour and the final stage of the season. But in the last episode we had a brilliant stage with Valentin Madouas, who was a long way off the top of the general classification, but with an outstanding win over that high class climb, he managed to get himself a 34-second gap to those behind, and now is a second off being the man with the yellow jersey. So let's have a look at where we go in the last stage. Of course, if you're going to enjoy today's video, remember to leave a like, comment your thoughts as well, and subscribe for regular Tour de France content on a Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at 6 PM. But as you can see, Madouas is so close to beating the movie star rider of Nieve, the Spaniard, in a race for the yellow jersey. We've also got the polka dot jersey pretty much wrapped up, and we are 10 points ahead of Nieve. So again, it's going to be a two-horse race for that one as well, I would say. I don't see anybody behind really making too much of an effort, although I suppose you never know. I would say Ben Swift has definitely guaranteed that green jersey. I think there's only one or two sprints to the next stage, so 70 points, or even if it's 100 points to be quite honest, I can't see Barbier getting 100 points. So Ben Swift has pretty much got that one wrapped up. We're also going for the silver jersey, or the white jersey, the grey jersey, I think it actually is probably, with Valentin Madouas. Gegenhardt is just behind, but if we win the general classification, then that young rider classification comes for itself. We're also in 10th place for the team classification, but we're not too bothered about that one. So, what we're aiming for today is to try and beat the CTC Pro Team, or whoever ends up in 18th place, to try and get on a few more tours next year. We don't want another season of just some bland, well, not bland races, but the easier race. We really want a challenge, and we can expand our team further if we can get 18th place. I think for the general classification, there's 25 points up for grabs. For each stage, there's 15 points, but I think we can roughly do it. But we've got to give it our best and see what happens ultimately at the end of the stage. So it's time now for the final stage of the Open Tour. Can we go and win it?
It's the final stage, guys. It's a day in the mountains. The finish isn't decided at the top of the climb, but the route is challenging, and it's an important day for the general classification. This is our last chance to turn the general classification on its head. I reckon it's possible. I trust you. You'll have to be aggressive and give it your all. We don't have what it takes to play a prominent role. If we want to make a showing, we'll have to join the early breakaway. Good luck, guys!
Hello, cycling fans everywhere. Given the presence of the Pic du Nord at the end of the stage, the pure sprinters should be written out of the scenario for stage victory. The baroudeurs should take advantage of the topography for a prestigious win.
Here we are then, folks, for the final stage of the Open Tour, and indeed the final stage of the season. 129 kilometres stand before us today. 3 mountain passes, second class climb, fourth class climb and a first class climb. So Madouas could lose the polka dot jersey, but I think he's going to be pretty unlucky. And we've got the first class climb as well. So 10, 5, I think there's 16 points available. And as you can see, 2 sprints. So I think 70 points available there. So no issue. Well, there's a few obvious objectives today. And they consist of Madouas maintaining the polka dot jersey and also managing to win the general classification, gaining the general classification. And then also, of course, for Ben Swift to keep that green jersey, which I think is something that's going to happen anyway, I would say. So, first climb already. That came nice and quick. Very early on in the stage. We've got Quintana in the breakaway. That's our third objective for today. And he's a good man to have in the breakaway. If he can win this second class climb, it just stops any worries about anybody else pinching that classification. But seeing there's nobody in the breakaway, he's actually a rider who has got points in that classification so far. Then I'm not worrying at all, really. But it's quite a long climb, actually. 10 kilometres. But it's a fairly steady climb. We're actually getting away from the breakaway. Sorry, from the peloton. The breakaway is getting quite a good gap from the peloton already. So this is encouraging to see. The peloton not persistent. We're just going to tell the guys in the peloton to ensure a minimum tempo. Is McLeod protecting Madouas? Yes, he is. That's all good then. Happy with that.
Okay, I'll protect him.
So, good gap. There's how many kilometres? So about 8 kilometres probably to go till the top. And I will see you guys when we get there. And well, all the praise being given to Quintana at the moment. That's nice to see. Well, we're nearly at the top of this one. 2 kilometres to go. We've been following most of the way up. And now he took a nice lead. But as you can see, that blue energy is not the highest suppose it's only a 4th class climb to go after this, so we can afford just to use a little bit of that gel. And there's the 1 kilometre line, as you can see, just ahead of us.
Keep an eye on him. He's the best climber in the breakaway.
We know how important it is to get some points here. Well, it's not too important, seeing as the guys behind haven't got any points, but why not? It's our competitive spirit at the end of the day to try and get some points here. Not so much a Quintana this year, but we know he's a solid climber.
You should perhaps be waiting for the group behind. It will be easier if there are several of you.
Well, that was easy. Nobody really persisted and went for that.
It prevents our
We are going to wait for the guys behind.
points.
As said, we just wanted to get a good gap to make sure we got the points on the climb. Can't complain at that one, but there's a massive gap now to the peloton behind. So, potentially, it could be somebody in this breakaway who wins the yellow jersey. I mean, we're the best placed by far. We've got somebody else in there. Let's have a look who... So, we've got Possa Vivo, who's only 40 seconds behind us. But apart from that, really, it's got to be a huge gap to upset the general classification. But we've got a 4th class climb coming up. We'll just keep things as is, and obviously if there's an attack in the peloton, well, we'll react to it. Well, we're not too bothered about this one. Only 1 point available, but we'll still go for it. Again, I don't think we're going to burn too much our energy coming up this climb. And after this, anyway, we get our feed. Quite a way after this, so we won't use it all here. Still the same 7 guys in this breakaway. I think it'll be caught. Not quite the gap that it was. But this is a decent pace. Might as well attack. And these guys clearly aren't the strongest climbers. But Quintana, we always know he's a good climber. And it's another point for him there. Feed zone. I mean, the feed zone's just before the sprint. I'd argue whether it was a feed zone or not. It's quite a way to that feed zone. But I would guess the peloton will probably, unless we set a very good pace, I would guess the peloton will start to catch up. Or will catch up before that feed zone. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll work with our opponents. See if we can get a decent gap. But yeah, it's going to be a long time before the next highlight, which is, of course, the first 2 sprints. So I'll see you guys when we get there. So, peloton has indeed caught up. We've got a secondary attack going on here, which Maduas and Quintana have both joined in on. And we've really gone for it. I can't see there being any real drama here. As you can see, the peloton is dropping back a little bit. McClay and Affini struggling. I don't know why McClay's absolutely going for it, but, well, he has. Luckily, we're nearly at the feed zone. We're going to let Simon go. Again, I'm not too bothered about him. He's not a threat to the general classification. No point trying to catch him. Just try and get the group behind us to stay. It's a comfortable group, and quite nice to see that all our riders are indeed in that group. And just as I say that, McLean now starting to lose touch. Not too bothered about that, to be honest. But this is a nice group. We're just going to... Yeah, just protect our leaders, that's fine. We might as well go for the sprint with Ben Swift. And it's not going to hurt. So 5Ks to go here. Just ensure a minimum tempo. We don't really want to go for this intermediate sprint with anybody but Ben Swift. I can't see there being much of a breakaway from this sprint. Could be wrong. But even if there is, I don't think there's going to be one that's going to really succeed too much. And we don't want our mountain riders to exert themselves here where there's not really much point in doing so. We know we've got the green jersey. Just for pride, really, to try and get some points here. I'd say Simon's got us enough of a gap to get top in that sprint, but I guess you just never know. So we'll just put some good pace in. The peloton, as you can see, has all come back together now. So, we might as well go for this. We've gone a little bit early, probably, for our capabilities, as you can see. But the peloton is quite a way behind, so we can just relax, I think, now to the line. No, he ain't got enough to catch up to those guys in front, but it's still 5th. Can't complain at that one at all. 11 points. Just wait for the guys behind now. We'll go on board with Meduis. Of course, Meduis is the most important asset for us today. As you can see, I mean, don't think anybody was really bothered about that sprint. But there is a breakaway. As said, though, there's nobody really who's a big gun for the classification. And this first class climb is really going to sort the men from the boys. This is where the gaps are going to be rocked. So we'll have to see what happens here. As you can see, the peloton catching up to that second group anyway. So here we are for the last mountain climb of the open tour. As you can see behind us is the whole peloton. That will begin to split, because it's pretty much downhill to the finish. So basically, we're trying to eliminate anybody who can sprint, and hopefully trying to eliminate some of our close opponents. We're in a good place, Meduis, though. And there's the top group at the front there. But not really much of note. We might try and put a bit of an attack in, but no point wasting our energy just at the moment, I don't think. Maybe close to the top might be a good idea. Maybe we're sort of about 3 kilometres to go. Certainly when the mountain is a little bit less steep, but when people have lost a lot of energy, they can't react then when they're down on their energy. But we've got a full feed left of everyone, so I'm fairly confident we should be okay, and I'll see you guys a little bit close to the top. So we're about halfway up here, and it seems the guys who were in the original breakaway are starting to struggle now. So we've got a decent gap. Remember, we've got to condition ourselves a little bit here to avoid blowing up ourselves before the top. But we've got 2 of our riders still in the peloton. We've got Ben Swift, and I don't think that'll last very long yet. It won't at all. Quintana's doing okay, though. We're just going to tell him to persist without limit. Would be nice to have Quintana up here, but again, I'm not going to risk him just at the moment. He might be a bit more use at the end of the stage. I know it's all downhill till the finish, but to be honest, even if he really went for it now, it'd be no use, because he's not going to be able to catch us that quickly, and it'd just be a waste of his energy. But as you can hear, if we stay in this position, we will take the lead off the overall stands. That's what we're looking for. So this is the toughest point of this climb. Got a great lead, I have to say. Can't afford to lose a few seconds and really attack towards the top, because of course, remember, we will get all of our energy back coming down this climb, and the kilometres will wilt away very quickly at the end of this race. But this looks good at the moment for Meduis. It could all still go very wrong, but this is the steepest point of the climb. As we get to that 5 kilometre mark, things start to get a little bit easier, and it looks like all the big guns are still in that group, but only 15 of them in that group, and as that group gets smaller and smaller, the chance of victory for us grows larger and larger. 3 kilometres to the top, and that secondary group only now consists of 12 riders. The real top brass. But obviously, we need to just maintain our energy here. We can burn a bit though as we get to the top. It is just all downhill till the end, so I wouldn't think we'd exert too much energy. So really, this climb is the last place where you can take advantage. And we'll put some good pacing in just a minute, I think. Want to keep a little bit of our feed in reserve just at the end, just in case we screw it up at the end. This looks good for us at the moment. And to be honest, this just stabilises quite nicely. So we're going to put some good pace in now. Really push the limit. Just bear in mind, of course, that blue gel and blue energy. We don't want to lose too much. This is okay at the moment. Okay, we can just start to decrease the pace a little now. And we're now at the top of the climb. Give it our last push. Because at least now we can come down and try and attack, get some aerodynamics on, gain some energy, and we've got a good gap to the guys behind. They're the ones who are going to have to push now. And obviously, because we've got the 10 points there, we confirm at least the polka dot jersey. So, polka dot jersey, points jersey, and if we can win this stage by if we win this stage by any distance, we should have the yellow jersey and of course the white jersey as well. That's the one. 19 kilometres to go now, and as you can see, our leaders evaporated. We couldn't hold it really ourselves for that long. And there's a few guys trying to attack now. We're just going to try and keep fairly well placed, not caught napping by anybody. We have got Quintana in the peloton as well. That's quite crucial to remember. He's not a sprinter, but we're just trying to keep energy in reserve for this sprint. And of course, every second counts. If Nia finishes in the same second as us, well, then he's won the yellow jersey. So it might be an idea just to launch a bit of an attack. Just don't want to lose all our energy, all of our energy. That's my only concern. Might be worth going for it with Quintana, actually. Yeah. Naduas, again, isn't really the one we want to risk so much here. Because if Quintana loses energy, then it doesn't really matter, does it? Let's just go for it. Let's bolt. See if anybody follows. See if anybody takes the bait. As we usually would. Just the one rider who reacts to that. So I don't think that's really worked, but oh well. Not going to hurt at all. It does look like it's going to be a fairly bunched finish in the 40-odd riders that are there. One rider trying to come up now, so again we'll try and push still. And while Quintana does that, we'll go back to Valentin Maduas. It's going to be an interesting one though here.
I don't know if it's a bluff, but the breakaway looks to be increasing the pace at the front of the race.
That's okay. Don't mind those guys finishing ahead. So 10k's to go. We've got a good amount of energy. Got a decent amount of feed. It's just going to be about getting that odd second. Ultimately, if we win the stage, I forgot about that. You do get time bonuses, don't you, for winning the stage. So all we need to do is win the stage. Is Hagen somebody who's a risk for the win? No. So with Quintana, once we catch up, that is, we'll get him to protect Maduas now. Just follow him. But it's been a good tour. I've enjoyed this. Certainly the mountain stages. It's nice that the stages are different every year. I know it sounds a bit silly, but as someone who's a football fan, a Formula 1 fan, etc. Oh dear, Brambill nearly went into the wall there. You know, the stages are always the same. The tracks are always the same. But nice that these are all different stages. So it just varies things a little bit, doesn't it? But 5 kilometres to go now to the finish. Going to put some pace in now. There's an attack. That's from Vlasov, who's 30 seconds behind. So I'll take that with a pinch of salt. 4 guys to go here. And we're going to put a bit of pace in here with Quintana. Sorry, with Maduas. Try not to use all our energy, of course. Might as well use the majority of that red gel now. Same goes for Quintana.
Okay, I'm coming to protect you.
A decent gap though to the guys behind. Again, they're the ones that are going to have to push here. Just leave a little bit of feed left in reserve. And the peloton has now caught up. So Madua's not the best sprinter in the world. He's going to have to become one though. 1.2 kilometres to go. 0.9, 0.8. We know we haven't got as much with Maduas, so we went a little bit later. But half kilometres to go. Give it everything now. Give it everything. There's galloping. Win the stage. Yay! The stage is won with Maduas. Fantastic stuff. Quintana did well as well there. And by my calculations, winning the stage is all we could do. And I think that means that Maduas gets a very nice yellow jersey. Let's find out. So the fully deserved winner of this stage, both of the mountain stages, it's our rider, He's had a brilliant season. He's our main man now, I think Medeiros is, you have to say. Quintana's a great rider, but he is young. They were saying Quintana's a bit younger. Don't know if he's younger than Medeiros, but Medeiros is certainly our main rider in the mountains. We've got a great sprint as well in Ben Swift. And it is us. Well deserved. Valentin Medeiros wins the Open Tour. He gets the yellow jersey. Well deserved. Brilliant. Wins the general classification. We also get the green jersey. It was pretty unassailable. Some fantastic sprints in the early stages from Swifty. And he wins the points classification. We also get the polka dot jersey. I think it's going to be 4 out of 4 here. Medeiros is going to have plenty of jerseys to take home with him, that's for certain. Brilliant best climber classification jersey. And then, of course, the best young rider as well. So Medeiros is a young man. But he's coming on a lot. And, well, just whets your appetite for stuff that could happen maybe in the likes of the Tour de France. But we've done all we can do. Let's see, I suppose, if we've gone up to 18th in the rankings. Fingers crossed.
Huge congratulations for this win, guys. Our chances of victory were virtually nil. This is an outstanding performance. You beat all the favourites. We finish with the yellow jersey, the green jersey, and the polka dot jersey. It's simply phenomenal, guys. Well done, lads.
Look at that top left. Wow, look at that top left. Exciting, eh? Medeiros brilliantly wins the general classification. It was close. It was close. Excellent from us, really was. So, the individual pro cycling rankings. Roglic wins the pro cycling rankings. Medeiros was brilliantly, to be honest. 26th place and Swift 39th. But as you can see, oh, that was close. We needed every point we could get, and we just about did it. Into 18th place we go. My God, that was close. That was close. Whew. Well, we've got the World Championships coming up next. Not bothered about that. That's not us. But Great Britain win it. Nice to see. Nice to see. So a few more in the pro cycling rankings. But we're not concerned about that. A great season. And finally... Oh, thank God for that. We can purchase some new riders. Well, we'll do that all in the next episode, I think. 18th place, eh? We can have up to 15 riders now. I mean, not that we're going to be able to get many more in our team. We might have to get rid of some dead wood, I suppose. But, yeah. I hope you've enjoyed this season. Fantastic. I've really enjoyed it. And we get up to 18th. This next season is going to be very, very exciting. A lot more events. And this is where it gets serious. So if you've enjoyed that, make sure to leave a like down below. Comment your thoughts as well. And subscribe for regular Tour de France content on a Tuesday, Thursday and on a Sunday. Saturday, not a Sunday. On a Saturday, of course, at 6 PM. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday for Season 3. Goodbye for now.